From the east to the west, north to the south, let's come together. I go. They say you're not there, we stand, if I there, we fight.
What a beautiful way to say good evening once again. My name is Washington Prince Papu Jr. It's a blissful
He loves to do that.
and I know, but let's get it going. So it's good to be here. Our responsibility to do the Liberian people's job, and this is what we are committed to, and we are obligated to doing the Liberian people's job. So this is the biggest thing happening on radio at about this time, and the program you're listening to is called Open Conversation. An open conversation is Liberia's biggest platform. Let me now welcome in our in-house panelist who has either some, homogeneous flavor to this panel. He's Daniel Nux Thomas. Daniel, you are such a wonderful in-house panelist. Good evening and welcome. And how was your day?
Good evening to you guys, and it's good to be back here today. I'm even overly excited because the president rejuvenated the major consensus of the Liberian people in his 8 cardinal point messages. The message that was given today. So I'm happy that I saw a lot of our young brothers and sisters, our elderly, all out there in the numbers today, as if to say, the campaign, have called in is epic. But it's good being back here today, and I'm very anticipative that we're going to inform our people more on what is unfolding.
Exactly. There's a firing conversation with the people, so I think all of them are ignited to follow. Let's go to the big woman in the house.
No big woman in the house. No big woman in the house. Since I decided to speak, people to
No.
Mampoya, hello. How are you doing? You're welcome to Open Conversation. So, every night, I'm always crying Washington to break it down. Washington, please break it down for the people. Break it down. Then Daniel can't wait. I'm very anticipative. So today,
rejuvenation.
Today, I'm taking it real, but it's good to be back here, man. We bless God for another day, another strength of life. That meaning opportunity to be alive today. Some people were sick in the hospital, and so for me, seeing a new day, it gives me more vigor to work hard and bless God for His grace and mercy upon our country, especially what we have gone through as a country. During these elections, every one of us at each other's throat. But today, God helped us. We went through the first phase of the elections peacefully, and today we anticipate the second phase of the elections as the second round. So we bless God and we pray that He continues to guide us as a nation, as a people, that we go to these elections on November 14th, and whoever wins, and then Liberia moves on.
Exactly. So, open conversation. Daniel, like I welcome you, but probably you have an intro or something like that.
Well, basically, we just like what we've always done here. We want to excite our audience with the factual information. We want to be able to provide them the demystify and purified, a conversation that helps them to know the direction to go in. Because in our public today, a lot of people are confused. When 2 or 3 persons are making noise in the market, and if you follow the noise in the market, you're definitely not going to buy. So we are the true essence of communication. We are the ones providing, the first-hand information based on what is happening. So what I can say to the audience tonight is that rest assured, we have a lot of goodies in store for you.
Exactly. So today there are a lot of things going on. The campaign was declared yesterday, opened, and President Weah made a political flowering statement today at the party's headquarters, and we are seeing endorsements popping up. We are going to be looking into that. And coupled with issues in our platform, a discussion will be interrupted today through telephone conversation and all of that. That is the itinerary for tonight's conversation. Let's get back to you, so as we start up.
Okay, so you already started talking about, our conversations will tonight will be interrupted by telephone calls. We will be speaking with, hopefully, we will speak with you. As you already know, if you haven't heard, then this is news for you that President Milton Finley, former. His most recent job is former foreign minister, right?
Yes.
And he's a former pro tem of the Liberian Senate. And he has been elected by the people of Grand Bassa County to represent that county on Capitol Hill. These recent elections, Mr. Finley, Senator Finley was re-elected. I would say re-elected because this is not his first time. He was at the Senate before. He's been re-elected by the people of Grand Bassa. They told Jonathan Kape to come and sit down, and they prefer Senator Finley at this time. And Senator Finley now has, pledged his support to the re-election bid of His Excellency in these second rounds. He called on his people in Grand Bassa County to vote President Weah. We have the voice of Senator Finley. Will be playing that for you. But also there is another person we anticipate speaking with this evening from Grand Bassa County, Larry Komna-Brople. We will hopefully speak with him this evening. He's the head of the CDC campaign in Grand Bassa County. So we want to talk a little bit with him and how prepare they to more energize their base, because Grand Bassa County voted for His Excellency, but the Unity Party got some votes there. So what is it they're doing? What is it they're going to do? To incite their base to turn Bassa blue for good come October 14. Yes. We will also speak with the head of the EPA. Professor Wilson Tape. He has agreed to talk to us this evening on the show. So we'll talk to him. We're talking about most of the things. If you listen to President Weah today, well, that's good. If you didn't listen, we will read his speech because it's full of a lot of goodies for the Liberian people. And President Weah has said, some very good things that he anticipates doing. And I like the way he put it, he starts in January of next year. And that is what a lot of people have been waiting to hear, especially those in the security sector, the teachers, health workers. There was a very good news put out for them. So we'll be talking more about that this evening. And our conversation is going to center around that tonight because you already know campaign has started.
Exactly.
So maybe we start the ball. Should I suggest?
Please.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so let us, before we go to His Excellency's speech, we already know that 20 plus the incumbent made 21, right? At 19 plus the incumbent, the people who participated in these elections in the presidential election.
20.
So 19 candidates, including the incumbent president, went to the elections.
Yeah.
And in our country here, if you don't get 50 plus 1, 50% plus one vote, you can be our president.
Nope.
And if that happens, we go for a rerun. And so we're going for a rerun of the elections, but the only people who are allowed to participate in the rerun of the elections is the two people who got the highest votes in these elections. President Weah won the elections, but next to him came former Vice President Joseph Yumo Boaka. So the two are facing off in these runoff elections. And you know that after a campaign was declared openly last evening by the head of the National Elections Commission, we know that people have started even before that. But again, these pronouncements we're hearing today now, another party that participated, pledging support to other parties. those kind of things would have started as of today, because yesterday campaign was declared open. So we know that people are pledging supports to their parties of their kind,
Yes,
the ones
yes,
they want
yes,
to,
you're right.
affiliate with.
Yes.
But what we know is that Bezanga Finlay has pledged his support, and that means a lot to the Coalition for Democratic Change. I know I read some Facebook messages from, I read Tawonwe's Facebook message. He's from the CPP. And he was really, really hard on the Unity Party from that Facebook message. I'm going to try to find it. And he was saying that I know Alexander Cummings has not come up to say who he supports, although the president, incumbent President Weah, and former Vice President Joseph Yuma Bwaka paid him a courtesy visit yesterday. He hasn't come up to say who he supports, but we hear a lot of people from the CPP who are, influential people in the CPP, not really happy about supporting the Unity Party. According to them, this Unity Party did not seek their interests. They wanted to see Cummings go to jail. And during the elections, all they did was badmouth the CPP. And today they believe that all of them are in the opposition and they should take a side. And and I tell you, I saw a post from Muna Fahad, a video message from her, a conversation that didn't look good for the Unity Party. And in that message, she pledged to support, the CDC. She believes that, supporting the Unity Party would just be a waste of her precious vote. And she didn't want to do that. And I saw Taz message also yesterday. And he after he wrote what he wrote against the Unity Party, he gave the peace sign, like number 2, and President Weah is number 2 on the ballot. So, and he comes from Nimba County. He has won elections. He was elected in one of the districts. He
Right?
Tawon.
I saw his name.
He took out Johnson Gweglu. Yeah, so he's a representative now.
That means he has a particular base.
So he has. Okay, that's what I was going.
Yes, he has a particular base in Nimba.
Okay, so he can, if he is supporting, President Weah, he obviously will tell his people to support the re-election bid of His Excellency the President. But because we don't have, official messages from those people, the one we have, we're going to, play the voice of Senator Finlay, who addressed the people of Grand Bassa County today.
Senator-elect.
Yeah, Senator-elect. Anyway, thank you for the.
You once corrected me.
That's good. We all make mistakes, so I don't have a problem with that.
Yes.
So let's play his message, and then we talk a little bit about it.
Of Grand Bassa County, I'm Messenger Milton Finlay, Senator-elect of Grand Bassa County. I have done some consultation in Bassa with some of the eminent and permanent citizens of Grand Bassa County. We have a runoff presidential elections that will take place on November 14. And I have had consultations with both the Unity Party and the CDC Party. I have come to appeal to all of the citizens of Bassa to be understanding that this process of choosing who lead Liberia must be a process through which the citizens of Bassa must benefit. In so doing, the consultation that I have completed in Grand Bassa County, majority of the citizens have asked me to support the CDC-led government by His Excellency President George Manneh Weah. I believe that my support for President Weah will be in the right direction of my platform, the commitment I've made to Bassa to bring electricity to Buchanan City, to build the commitment we have made to the people of Bassa to build and establish vocational training institute for all of our young people in every district. It will be manifested if we elect President Weah for his second term. I believe that Bassa will achieve its goal, that we, as your lawmakers, will come together after the second round and present our legislative agenda to President Weah. In concluding, I once again appeal to all of the good citizens, the wonderful citizens, the beautiful people of Bassa to follow me in supporting the re-election of President Weah. I know and I have the conviction that he will work along with the people of Bassa to bring development, to bring growth, to address jobs and employment for the people of Grand Bassa County. I ask God's blessing upon all of you as you prepare for the runoff elections, that we continue to be peaceful in this process. May God bless Bassa and bless the nation. Thank you. This message is brought to you by Wesenga Milton Finlay, Senator-elect of Grand Bassa County. God bless you. Good day to all the citizens.
Yes, to me.
So I think it was she was trying to replay that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so well, that is it for you.
So,
Yeah, let's Daniel weigh in, then I'm coming later.
so the first thing is, I first want to thank Senator-elect Wesenga Finlay for that decision. In as much as the decision was made in acquiescence with the people, because he had to reach out to his people, and they gave him direction. You see, like we were saying yesterday, the issue of development is anti-tribal. The Bassa people have recognized the significant impact of the president's agenda across the country. And to cut that short for them at this point in time would be like a murderous venture in that county. So Senator Finlay, like, he's got a very good foundation in Grand Bassa County. The people listens to him. Imagine he was elected before, and now he's re-elected after resting a while. Grand Bassa is such a way that they pay good for good. When the time comes, they carry you. So his decision to support the Coalition for Democratic Change platform is a good one, because it is a continuation of the developmental agenda that's already been established by the president. Nobody knows when former Vice President Bouaga becomes president. In the worst case, he may, looking at the way they currently fight the president, all of the president's developmental activities will be cut short. Okay, will be cut short. So at the end of the day, you find out that you find out that you'll be able to or get these things done. So I am happy that he made a decision. Okay, and I'm very sure that the people of Grand Bassa County, they're gonna definitely appreciate and follow their son. All right. So what we're looking for in coming days, you see, Wesenga is just an example of what is going to happen in preceding days.
Mm-hmm.
In preceding days, we are very, very, very optimistic, and we're anticipating bigger political champions to join the process. And with that being said, as we go forward in our conversations, we can look at some of the things the president has done in Grand Bassa County, for which the people have unanimously supported their son Wesenga and has informed him to go and support the president. But I think it is a very good decision, and the people of Bassa made no mistake by, first of all, electing their son Wesenga, and secondly, for informing him that in as much as we elected you, we want you now to support our son to continue this agenda. And this for me is a good one, and I want to say thank you to the people of Grand Bassa County for the overwhelming support again given to the president in these run-ups.
Exactly, Daniel. You just nip it right. The statement made by Besson to support the re-election.
Wesenga.
Wesenga.
When you say Wesenga, different.
Is it Wesenga? That's what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Statement made by
Bassa.
Okay.
Wesenga.
Wesenga.
Bassa. Exactly.
Okay. So the
Lost power, darling.
rather than it told me that even in South. Okay, then no problem. So the statement made by Senator-elect Wesenga Finlay, former foreign minister, it's something that we need to take into a very serious context. In these political times and runoff, you will definitely see people will give their support to a particular political party based on the records and based on their agenda and what are the visibilities, what are those tangibilities, those things that you can see, and they have been manifested to positively affect the lives of the ordinary people. Now, based on that, and one of the things you said that I admire, he said, I did this with the acquiescence of the people of Grand Bassa County.
Correct.
And the multiplicity of the people that I consulted with. They have told me that we need to go this direction. It is from this backdrop that I, Besonga Finley, have decided that yes, indeed, we are going to throw in the towel with the really coalition for democratic change. Now, Besonga Finley has already said it, but it comes with a responsibility, Daniel. It comes with a serious responsibility because you have to convince the multitude of the people. You understand? In order to get the overwhelming support of Grand Bassa County. So the statement has been made, the endorsement has been consecrated. Now, what is to be done is that we have to go all out. We have to champion the message. We have to inform the people. We have to distribute the brochure. We have to make known and make public the agenda. We have to tell our people in our local dialects and everything that we can do to inform the people about the necessity of the decision made by the person who they elected as their next senator comes next year, right? Because Besonga Finley now has a base in Grand Bassa County. You can't read that out. He has a base in Grand Bassa.
It's a family heritage.
Yes, he now has a base in Grand Bassa County. And there is a particular a segment of people in Grand Bassa that will listen to Besonga. That when he says, let's do this, it is not everybody in totality will listen, but there should be a medium to convince the rest of the people who probably may be politically documented on certain things. Yes. So the responsibility now has not been open. The endorsement has been made. Well, a decorated calculation by Besonga. There must be a huge Besonga now must be the face to campaign, to go all out and to say this decision that I have made, that we have consulted all my people, let us be able to live and to reach all out in the trenches to our people in Grand Bassa County, so that the numbers that will be received from Bassa in the runoff will be so tremendous that Bassa will be, like Titi said, Bassa will be overturned in blue. So Bassa now has a responsibility to go all out and make sure that the statement coming from Besonga Finley is absolutely manifested.
Well, you saw. I would say that I think the people, they've sent out a different message, contrary to the one they sent during the general elections that the president won Bassa. The message that's been sent now is that Yomi Kanga Lawrence, her time as the face of Bassa once upon a time is almost done. Because for the people to unanimously resolve behind the son Besonga and inform him that they're going to re-elect the president, they should send a message to the senator, Yomi Kanga Lawrence, that is already there. Why? Because the people would have been divided had the senator's agenda for the county been unique. Her ability to identify developmental activities in Bassa that the people can reflect would have been very unique. She was senator when Madam Salif was there. The Bassa University, GBU, it was abandoned. It is this administration that prioritized that university and made it and gave it the essence. Even the bridge that leads to the university was badly damaged. It's this administration. So the people of Grand Bassa County voted Besonga out of anger and anticipation that this senator, this female who we thought that gender equity would have worked in our state, has failed our county miserably. And because of that, we're going to vote our son Besonga. But I believe that even voting Besonga as a people was on the basis of a truce. The truce was just like Maryland 2 yesterday. The people in these counties, they will come to you and say, our son will vote for you. When we vote you and you win, we want you to do one thing for us. The president that did, do not campaign against him. You either remain quiet and let us carry him, but don't campaign against him. You saw when P. Mark Jr. 2017, he did the same thing. He was in Unity Party at the point in time. Now he's with the CDC. P. Mark was informed by the people, look, we will carry you, not because you're Unity Party, but because you are our son from Maryland. And you better carry and he did a lot of work with us. But when we elect you as a lawmaker, please do not campaign against President George Weah. He thought it was a joke. When he brought folks like the different football players from Monserrado, Kevin, Simo, Denisha, Simo, took them there to Maryland, it raised serious contention. And guess what? That program never held, and the people, everything was scattered. Even Phoenix FM, the top university, they refused them for even having a show there. Guess what? The same thing again happened with James Barney and the bitter James Balu, John Balut. These people, the people reminded them, said, we told you that in as much as we gave you the time to serve, you cannot come here and tell us who to vote for. We voted for our son. BASA has also responded similarly. They have informed Senator-elect Reverend Finlay that you are our new face, our choice. We're taking you to the heights. And you know what our problems are. And President Weah has already started addressing some of our problems, while Yomi has been acutely focused on divisive politics. You have been in the backdrop working. So we're bringing you on board, but as we bring you on board, we want you to ensure that we retain President George Weah, because the developmental strides that he started in Grand Bassa County should continue.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Exactly.
On that, Daniel.
A beautiful analysis.
Because listening to Senator-elect Finlay, he said that he consulted his people. And what he got from his people is that, you know, the best way to go is the way of the incumbent president. But more to that, he also struck a point. He said, you can't come to power without making some promises. There are things you tell the people you will do as their leader that will, encourage them to vote for you. And he has made some promises to the people of Grand Bassa County. He also believes that those promises he has made to the people of Grand Bassa County that gave them that, exuberance to vote for him can only come to fruition when he supports, the incumbent president. And he believes that he will have that better rapport with President Weah than any other president to make the dreams and aspiration of the Grand Bassa people, come to reality. He also talked about, the caucus. And, it's good for the caucus to work together. When you look at those who are elected or who have been elected in Grand Bassa County, we have Barney Isaac from the MPC. We have Banks J. Clarence, he's an independent candidate. We have Matthew Joe from the CDC. Yeah, we have Flomo Afre from the Unity Party, and we also have Thomas Goshua from the CPP. Mind you now, the CPP was the party that Senator-elect Finlay aligned with during the first round of the elections. So he has this guy in his corner already, and he has the incumbent lawmaker from the CDC who is already in his corner. It's easier to also get Clarence Banks, who is the independent, and also Afre Flomo, who is from the MPC. So in that way, making what is possible.
Very strong.
Making a strong, Bassa caucus will be, something that will be easy for him to do. And if you have a very strong caucus that is united and wants to see the betterment of the county, it helps you a lot. And mind you, these people we're talking about, most of them.
So the UP didn't win a seat.
No, they have a seat.
No, they have a seat.
Afre Flomo is from the Unity Party.
Okay.
They have one seat in Grand Bassa County. So obviously, because you have Senator Yombli Kanga Lawrence, and you have, if Flomo decides to be an opposition to the caucus, which will not be a good thing because he's a new lawmaker. He's a new lawmaker. All these other people, Goshwan, who is from the CPP, is an old lawmaker. The CDC lawmaker, Marty Joe, is an old lawmaker. So you got to sit on the old mat to plant the new mat. Correct. So the people who are coming, the independent candidate and the MPC candidate and the Unity Party candidate are all new people. So you have to follow the lead of those people who you met there. So it will be easier because Bezenga Finley is an experienced, lawmaker who is coming now to help his county. So going the way of the incumbent president couldn't have been, that's the best decision he thinks. And, if he says he consulted the people of Grand Bassa, like you were talking about what happened in Grand Bassa County. If the people who elected you are saying to you that, we're going the way of the incumbent president because we've seen what he has done for us. No good leader will want to say no. We can't go this way because I don't want to go there. Because you are a leader of the people, you follow the, advice of the people because they believe that. When you do that, then it means you're listening to them. If you don't listen to your people, you get what, the likes of Yombli Kanga Lawrence from Grand Bassa County.
You get the latches.
So we like to, appreciate Senator Finley. Senator-elect Finley. Once a senator, always a senator. Don't give me that.
No problem. But he said something. It was intriguing in that statement. He said the consultation was at the result, or the pronouncement to endorse the second bait of President Weah was at the result of the promises and the manifestation of President Weah's policy in Grand Bassa County.
Correct.
Yes, you listen to that statement. And this was predicated on the judgment from the people of Grand Bassa County. Because let's be honest, right? Bezenga Finley, Senator-elect Grand Bassa County, could have chosen either ways, right? But what makes you to choose the right way or the wrong way? A logical person who thinks critically and use his deduction will see the vivid reality of what this person has to put on the table and what this person has to put on the table.
Obvious.
If we take a critical analysis on the impactation of the Unity Party 12 years of political experience at the executive mansion, you have to weigh between the lines. What has Grand Bassa, as a county, under the Unity Party for 12 years, accrued from the leadership of the Unity Party as compared to, the time given to President Weah? Because, there are other interventions like the national crisis that we have no control over, right? Now, and what is on the plate? The inclusiveness of Grand Bassa into the governance structure of the country. Now, looking at a caucus, do you know the formidability of the caucus when it comes to the unity of the caucus working with the executive? Do you know what it means for the people of that county to benefit? Because if you have a caucus, like the way you just put it, Finley and the rest of the other people having a political alignment, they are going to work squarely in the interest of the people of the county in the different districts. So the single idea is to support the agenda and the policy. And then we all come together as a caucus and make a demand. Say our people need this. The executive is the implementation arm of the government that is responsible to ensure that things agreed by the legislature be brought to the people. And Bezenga Finley is going to use his political influence and he's going to use his political connection to build the caucus, build the solidarity of the caucus, and to ensure that the executive work with the Grand Bassa. So these are political analogies and ideas that this man is bringing on the table. So when he comes up to make such, a very beautiful and colorful, statement, it is at the result of the consultative attitude of the people of Grand Bassa County and nothing more.
Wagu,
And the truth is, if you look at some of the developmental activities that is cutting across the country, specifically if you want to focus on the CLSG, the CLSG is basically stationed in Grand Bassa County. And the last time I was there on Radio Bezo and Ablije, there were groundworks being done to extensively expand the electricity, to parts of Bassa.
I think already in Buchanan.
And you heard, but you also
turn the lights.
Yeah, but you also
down.
so you heard from Besonga, from Senator Finlay. He said part of the reasons why the people of Grand Bassa overwhelmingly supported him and asked him to re-elect the president is because the works on electricity that's already been done.
Progress.
Exactly.
Progress.
So
they don't want to, go back.
So if you look at the decision that was made by Grand Bassa that focuses on re-electing the president on the basis of what he's done. You see, there are different ways to look at this whole issue of endorsements now. The elitist political parties, the ones that we know of, will look at endorsing a candidate on the basis of the individual consensus between themselves. They're not going to take into consideration the people because it is just about the personal interest. But if development is made bare and brought to the people, and the people participate in the developmental agenda of their own geographic region, when they elect you, you become the face. So they tell you now what they want. So other political parties will be emanating the same example. I read a communication from the CPP today that the standard bearer was saying he would go in the direction of a political party that will implement some of the followings. There were some policy papers, there were some policy recommendations that were put in place.
I read that.
That cuts across the general geographic of the country, which of course he also added the issue of the World Crime School, WCC. So I think obviously what direction he's definitely going to be pointing in. So the people will basically be focused on development reaching their doorsteps and not just seeing it from afar.
What good leader would not do that?
Exactly.
If you love your people and you're a good leader and you want to see the lives of your people better, the person who is making their lives better is that person you're going to support. But if you're self-centered and the support is about you and you need everything in other people, obviously you will oppose whatever good that is coming to your people. It's just left with the people to read between the lines and understand exactly why is my leader making such a decision. How in the world are you going to tell me not to vote for a man who is making my roads passable, who is making sure that we couldn't ply this road, 3, 4, 5 years ago? Our goods or whatever we took from our produce from the farms were getting rotten because these roads were bad. This leader has made it possible for us to leave from this place to that place, and he has promised to even go further. You as our leader in the county are saying, no, you reject that man. Do you love us? No, you don't. Because you don't want to see continuous progress. It's about you because it has been about you for the past 18 years. It's sad, but that is the reality. You were talking about the CPP. So let me read what Tawonwe said, a representative-elect Tawonwe posted yesterday. He said, you testified against him. And he has the picture of
Boakai and
former Vice President Joseph Yumon Boakai and the CPP Senate Bearer Alexander Cummings. That was the picture they took yesterday when
he was prosecuted like
Vice President, visited him. So he posted this message, and then he had the picture of the two of them. He said, "You testified."
The visitor was a copycat, but we'll talk about it when we finish.
He said, "You testified against him, and if it was not for God, he would have landed in jail. You tried to ruin his reputation by saying he fingered the framework document. Now you want to meet for photo op
photo ops
and get his endorsement in the second round? We want y'all not to eat your tomorrow. Tomorrow has arrived.
The future.
Yeah. This picture reminds me of the face, white teeth, black heart. While I remain independent in these elections for now, I will always speak facts. I said what I said, and if anyone comes here to say nyama nyama, I will block you. I am not your honorable. And he gives the peace sign.
Yeah. So
What does it tell you?
So you see, first of all, Tawa Wangbe, if you look at his political entry in Nimba, it's not as long spanned as compared to many others, but he's been very strategic in meeting the needs and demands of the people there in Nimba County. Besides that, if you have followed Tawa's activities with the CPP, even during the period of that alleged fingering of the framework document, there were times he candidly went against his talent bearer when things was wrong. He's just somebody who was personally minded. So reminding them today is like giving you a recap of what you did yesterday and you've forgotten. I'm baffled how the Unity Party will suddenly forget. It was just yesterday.
Who told you that they have forgotten?
No, they pretend to have forgotten. So you see, even Yue, who was one of the key financiers of the party at point in time, when the party was literally dead, they came at Yue. A former vice president Bwaka came at Yue the same way. Yue had to clear his name. He had to clear his name because some of the things the former vice president said. Today, these runoffs are here, and you want these people's endorsement. Honestly, it's going to be a difficult thing because even the partisans
are not going to be happy.
About that.
They've already started speaking against that.
They're not going to be happy about that.
By the time elections were over, and I'm saying this to say also that, I always like to not think that everything is rosy, right? Because they say politics makes strange bedfellows. So the person who you don't even expect to endorse another person will be the one endorsing that person, even though their how do you call it, their plans for the country are not the same. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I always also believe that if you say you're supporting a candidate, that doesn't mean you must have the command, and if you must have the command of your people. You see, with Bezalel Finlay, a senator-elect, he went to the people, he consulted the people. That's what the people want. So
that's democracy
for them to go his way. But it doesn't tell you that because you're my leader. So I supported you because you're my leader, right? And your face is not on the ballot anymore. So you can come and tell me, go without my consultation and say, look, you, Titi, go and support this person. Well, I'm sorry. I supported you because you're my leader. You have to consult me. If not, you just make that comment. It's possible I can support that person. And there's nothing you can do about it. So these endorsements, they're tricky also. But meeting the people is also a very key and important part of it. Because if the people give you their mandate, they will live by it.
So I see this. You brought a good point. I was giving a candid example to Councillor Gonglo's party. I learned that he's already endorsed Vice President Bwaka. But let me tell you this.
He was one of the biggest critics.
Let me tell you this.
Of Vice President Joseph Imoko.
Let me tell you this. You see the snail, right? A full snail is an embodiment of the meat inside the shell, right? Yep. When you remove the meat from the snail, what is left?
It's the shell.
That's a shell.
What can you do with the shell?
Nothing.
It's useless.
So guess what? Edith Gonglowe, the sister of Tiawan, is the second most popular Nimbayan. You saw the elections between she and the current vice standard bearer for Unity Party, Jeremiah Koro, and in court. Okay? You saw how it was, right? You saw the elections between she and Senator Johnson at a point in time. Very slim margin.
Yeah, strong woman.
She was the face of his party in Nimba. she welded all of the votes that he took. The decision she will take will affect his endorsement.
Of course.
Because you know what? She is the true ground game.
Of course.
He's the frame, she is the meat.
Okay.
Exactly. You know,
Okay,
that's
good.
why
I wanted
that's-
to go
that's-
through the president's, speech today, and because we don't have much time, I think we've spent a lot of time on this, and it's almost,
9 to call out to get the people all right.
By 9:30, we have not even called, any of those people.
But let's
if
read
we-
the
if we
speech in
don't-
parts.
Yeah,
Yes,
in parts, and then we
let's-
just deal with it. If we get,
Because I think they're numbered.
yeah, of course they are.
because I think it's voluminous.
Yeah.
So we can read in parts and discuss.
Yeah, sure.
Manager say it plenty is voluminous.
Ain't that a book me we get? Okay. So, the president, addressed Liberians today at his party headquarters. And so we like to, we've decided to read this speech in bits and pieces. So he says, "My fellow Liberians, partisans, ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you with a heart filled with gratitude and hope. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you who participated in the October 10 polls, ensuring that they were largely peaceful and orderly. Your dedication to our democracy and the peaceful exercise of your right to vote is a testament of the strength of our nation. I must commend the National Elections Commission for their tireless efforts in successfully implementing this massive democratic endeavor in a peaceful, credible, fair, and transparent manner. I also want to express our appreciation to our international partners who have observed this important process. Your presence and support underscores the importance of these elections, not only to us, but to the world. Fellow Liberians,
Is it the second one?
Them really
No.
little pieces.
Because the first one was national appreciation,
yeah, so it's the second one now.
where he focused
So
on
let's-
thanking the people,
let's-
Yeah.
the National Election Commission, international partners.
Yeah, that's it. So we're on the second one now.
So
Yeah.
I want to.
Let's do the second
Yeah.
one and discuss. Let's do the second.
that-
the
this
This
first
one is
and
just
second.
thank you to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, because I have a point on that, but let's do the second.
What's your point?
Yes, you saw there's a release that the CPP they got, I think, about 3 political parties. They wrote complaining about the manner and form in which the National Elections Commission conducted the elections, and with everything that is surrounding that. I wanted to compare what the president said today. Since these elections, how many of the opposition that have taken up to their political party headquarters to have commended the National Elections Commission for such a peaceful, with all of what people said, right, Daniel? With all of what they said, the National Elections Commission was incapacitated to conduct a peaceful, free, and fair elections. But today, we all are relaxed. The peace has been maintained and secured, and the president has taken up to the podium to say thank you, and to the international partners who are here to say thank you. How many opposition political institutions have commended what the National Elections Commission has done, and our international partners who were here are helping with our local partners to supervise these elections? How many of them?
Okay, let's make progress. We must continue to sustain the peace of the nation while solidifying our democracy. As you are aware, during the period of campaigning for the first round of the elections, there were instances of violence which led to the loss of lives and the destruction of properties. The violence in Foya, Lofa County, and the Somalia Drive in Monrovia are particularly noteworthy. They demonstrate that more needs to be done with national reconciliation and healing. The security forces have made several arrests and their investigation is ongoing. At this time, I ask that you join me in observing a moment of silence for all who lost their lives during this period. May their souls rest in perfect peace. We extend profound sympathy to the bereaved families and all those impacted by these incidents. So that's
1 or 2, right?
okay. So this one before we go to 3. So this one ends, but he starts here. During the campaign period, I had the privilege to visit our town. So I think we should just talk about this one. This one adds to 3, because if I read this, it joins with 3. So
Which is
2
just-
is just about,
It's a synopsis.
of 1,
Yeah.
and recognizing those who lost their lives, and talking about the
Just an
violence
overview,
that took place, and just talking to those people who also had a really rough time, because if you lost your relative during electioneering period and as a result of violence, that is not a good thing. So I think it was good on his part
To speak to that.
speak to that. And so we move forward. During the campaign period,
Is that 3?
yeah, we're
Yes,
going
she's
to
on 3 now.
I mean, we talk about
let's-
national appreciation, right? So there are key parts in the president's message 1 and 2 that you need to look at.
Okay.
So he reminded Liberians of keeping the peace. He called for national healing and reconciliation, right? This is something that we really need to talk about, because these are some of the reasons why this tribal politics is all in our corridor. All right. So first thing first is that the president, the international community, even appreciated and congratulated the government of Liberia for a free, fair, and democratic elections. Okay.
Yep.
There are other countries in Africa whose elections were condemned by international communities, and sanctions were imposed on government officials. We saw before the elections, during the heat of the hate messages, the U.S. Embassy near Monrovia came up with a statement calling all actors in the elections to be able to hold on to their different bases and revert to something that's positive or the violence, else they'll be held responsible. What Liberia has proven in this democratic process is a new wave of great democratic tenet has been expressed by the president. He also recognized those who fell short to the cold hands of death, through violence, through accident, or what have you.
Sure.
He expressed his gratitude and sincere sympathy to the family.
That's a mark of a good leader.
Mark of a good leader. And this, for me, speaks to the fact that this president, despite everything, is still committed and convinced that peace is the only way forward.
Of course.
Because without peace, some of the things we've achieved as a nation, it is not about the extent of your educational capability or your intellectual prowess that you bear at a point in time.
It is boast about
Exactly. It is just how you manage
human relations.
human relations. And that is what the president continued to express. And many people in our country feels that education, the attainment that they have, is what is keeping the country going. No. You can be the most educated person, but the least man can harm you the worst. And to put that least man under control is the most difficult situation. We saw our civil crisis blossomed in this country because the people that were conscripted, the young brothers and sisters who were brought on board, given arms, they didn't know better. They were semi-literate. Today, the peace is being kept because we keep reminding Liberians and keep informing them this is our country.
Yeah, we can revert.
We can't go back to yesterday. So the president highlighted the violence. And the important part of that speech, he also said that the government of Liberia is committed to ensuring that every Liberian is secure under the law. And those perpetrators, he said, if some of them are being arrested, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
These are
It's
the
them.
security forces
And
that
the
commit
ongoing
terror.
investigation.
Of course.
And the course of the law will take its place. These are good tenets of a good leader.
She has a record. We have a record. Now, you were here when the incident in Lofa County happened, and the former vice president made a trip to Lofa. When he talked to the podium to greet his supporters, he said, "As far as I'm concerned, what?
There's no
There's no solution there." That is not a statement of reconciliation. After that acrimonious incident, you cannot
few days after your own
exactly
children died.
exactly
That's sad.
you cannot.
Really
So
sad.
you see, in spite of it all, we must learn our statements have the tendency to invoke the spirit of violence or to reduce the tension of violence. If we are talking to our supporters, our partisans, say, let allow the law to take its course, let peace reign, because we can revert this country back to the dark days and the ugly past. And you have a leader who is saying, as far as I'm concerned, with all of what has happened in this place, I don't believe that there are seditions in the place.
And
What
you know that
statement-
seditions have lost
What
their lives.
statement is that? It's a statement to ignite, violence.
Yeah.
So,
but somebody
it's
also
commendable.
said that President Weah and peace are 6 and 7.
Which is true.
It's obvious.
Which
It's
is true.
obvious. He
So
doesn't
let's-
say anything to the people
Without
with
talking about
his
peace.
peace without,
Oh yes,
talking about
oh
peace.
yes, oh yes.
So during the campaign period, I had the privilege of visiting your towns and villages, listening to your concerns and experiencing the challenges you face despite the many developmental activities we have already undertaken. I want to assure you that I am fully aware that there is much more to be done. It is my responsibility to address these needs, and I pledge to continue working tirelessly to do so if the privilege of another 6-year mandate is granted me.
So you see, so the president also highlighted that during the period of the campaign, he visited all of the towns and villages that has got people that are Liberians.
Not only visiting, but listening to their concerns.
Yes. First of all, he visited. They are Liberians. He didn't handpick
Where to go and where not
where
to
not
go.
to go, contrary to what the United Party did. He went to all these towns and villages and met with these people, listened to their challenges, experienced for himself some of the things that they go through, and pledged his commitment, despite all of the developments that has already currently ongoing and has been done in the country. He said, finally, there is more to be done.
Okay.
A good leader speaks in that direction because he is not complacent. He's being moved.
That is the word
He's being moved with that anxiety to do more.
for his people.
Okay, so, and that is the reason why the people are still convinced that the president has still got a lot to do. And because of that, he just acknowledged in his speech, and they are willing to go all out behind him. You see that, like I said, this speech was a rejuvenation of the people. There were others who sat on the fence, who have made no decision as to who to vote for. If you look at the numbers, like even in the southeast, if you look at the number of the total 304,000 combined, if you look at numbers that came out was around 100 and some more thousand, the rest, some of them because of today, they're coming down from the fence, willing to sleep, even past most of the other counties, they will come down now and they will join the process because the president has admitted that in as much as there's still a lot to do, but he committed
He
himself.
is pledged
Exactly.
to continue working tirelessly.
He didn't say
You know,
he didn't put it back in the people's throats.
No, not at all. Let's make progress.
Yeah, let's
Spread
make
of time.
the time.
So all Liberians who participated in this exercise of their constitutional right to vote, I thank and appreciate you for helping to consolidate our democratic credentials as a nation. To my fellow citizens, independent voters, and all supporters of the mighty Coalition for Democratic Change, I extend my deepest gratitude. Your unwavering support has once again brought us to the forefront of Liberian politics. Together, you have made the CDC the most potent and popular political force in Liberia. Your gallantry and dedication have been instrumental throughout our political history. Let me also extend special thanks to all members of the governing council of our great party, the National Executive Committee, the National Campaign Committee, the Youth and Women Wings, first-time voters, and all auxiliaries. Your efforts may not have secured a one-round victory, but they have propelled us to the forefront of the political landscape and evaluated us to the top position among our political competitors. And now, as the process of vote tallying has come to an end it is clear that we are still in a strong position and your support has not gone unnoticed. Your commitment and loyalty to our cause have made us proud. We are now poised for the next step, and we recognize that with our collective effort, we can cross to the finish line to victory. Fellow citizens, independent voters, first-time voters, auxiliaries, and supporters of the mighty Coalition for Democratic Change, we were at this same juncture, but our collective resolve to reshape our country's history carried us to victory. We stand ready to do it again.
So it was an applause, right, to the multitude of people who turned out, even though there was this campaign on a first ballot, and the people were committed to a first ballot victory. But that was a future anticipation, right? But after the elections, the president realized that the first ballot expectation wasn't realized. But the people who anticipated the first ballot anticipation, the president took upon his time to have informed them, even though that the first ballot anticipation wasn't realized, but what you have demonstrated has prepared us and has placed us in the forefront to indeed achieve this victory, even though our expectation of winning it on the first ballot wasn't realized. So this is like Daniel said, rejuvenation.
Exciting.
Exactly. Rejuvenation. Because the people were politically, juvenated to say, we are going to get this thing at all costs. Since they like, take for an example, we are in this thing 1-1, right? We're in this thing 1-1, and the coach comes and says, gentlemen, I told you guys that you're going to beat the thing first half, and because you guys didn't beat the thing, that means that you guys can beat it. So it is a statement to rejuvenate his base and to set them up and to ensure that what was not achieved will be achieved.
I hear you.
Basically, the first thing is you see democracy that says for the people, of the people, and by the people. Any leader who recognizes the definition, the action, the people will always have their backs. Okay? So what the president did today was not just to excite the base, but to speak also to a group of silent majority who felt that the cards at that point in time could not be dealt. But because of what he said, and looking at the positives that is out there in the public, they decided to get down the fence. They decided to roll their sleeves, scrap their boots, and join the process. Because this is not about individual. This is about a country called Liberia that has been lagging behind in development for many decades. If you look at the age of our nation and the patronage we play in the Committee of African Nations as it relates to the Pan-African, movement, you see that we mentor other countries. Those countries we mentor through the drive of colonial to decolonize themselves. You find out that those countries are ahead of us. Why? Because politicians have always repeatedly chose themselves over the country. And for the fact this president has been able to expose some of the things that people thought were impossible, today, the people now are resolved. So coming in all simpleness, but resolve to talk to his people and inform them that you have made me to do this. These are things that we did together. Although these things are not sufficient, but I'm back to tell you that I look forward to you supporting me. This is a repetition of 2017.
So my thought is, I love to give people their flowers when they are alive, and I appreciate people who are gratified when you do something for them. Gratitude is what His Excellency showed to his people today, and he incited his base. He told them, thank you. What you did on October 10, show to the world that we are a force to reckon with as a party.
They are in this.
And you have made me your leader proud. I'm excited that you have done that.
Yep.
If you have a leader who will come and say thank you, because what you have done has taken us, above all other political parties. It has put us in a place where people have a respect for us as a party. And I am your leader. I am proud of you. It gives anybody, anybody will be happy to do more for the party.
Totally agree.
Yes. So for me, gratitude is what the president showed in this paragraph to his, his base. And those people who are on the sideline and thinking which way to go. So no Siditian will want to sit back and after hearing their leaders say, you know what, I'm excited that you did what you did in the first round, but I know you can even do more because there is more we need to do for us as a people. We move.
Please.
I now urge all of you to rally once again. Let this be a call to action for every CDC supporter, first-time voter, auxiliary, and every Liberian who believes in the people's cause. Wake up, lace your boots, and let us together finish what we started.
Like I said,
I've heard you. I have heard your voices. My administration has worked tirelessly to improve your lives and develop our beloved country. While we acknowledge that there is more work to be done,
again,
let us not forget the progress we have made.
correct.
I understand your desire for more, and I assure you that we are fully prepared to do better and greater things in our second term. To every Liberian whose vote we may not have gotten, and all other stakeholders in the country, let me also thank you for your contribution to the growth of our democracy and assure you of my unwavering resolve to build a prosperous nation for all, regardless of political, social, and religious affiliations.
Correct.
I am therefore extending a hand of friendship, hoping that you will understand that this government has done more in a short period of time. So join me and let us together continue on the path of development. The next term will be dedicated to completing Liberia's road infrastructure. We intend to fulfill the pledge of ensuring the country's capital is connected to every nearby county through fully paved roads.
Now you see, so this is what we were talking about yesterday, and this is one of the reasons why the people in the southeast are still convinced and they're voting the president. Now he just made it clear today that this second term will be used basically to complete many of the developmental agenda on his administration, specifically completing the roads infrastructure. Our country economy will only grow beyond what it is when all counties are connected, because these counties also provide the bastion for our economic growth. If these counties aren't connected, it makes it difficult for our people. Think about this. So there were times, even before the roads were up to what they are now, people struggled to come to Monrovia. I visited last year, last year when they launched that regional hub in Bond County, TT, that on the Central Bank of Liberia. That hub was intended, it was basically used for those who in other counties that don't have access to come to Monrovia to go and get the salaries there. I'm actually on live. If you're following me and you're trying to call me, you can't call me because I'm running a live, so we can't do that. So please, I'll call you after. So to just put in a snap, we have to understand that the president acknowledges, there's still more to be done. There's still more to be done. At the same time, he's urging Liberians to give him the opportunity to finish Because he's right. Since 1847, the number of roads has been done under his administration, just almost 6 years. It's way more than the entire age of the country, what has been done. So I believe in 6 years, the remaining 6 years, if he's given the remaining 6 years, which of course Liberians are going to give him, he definitely going to deliver on his promises, and our country is going to be connected. That's what we want.
You know,
Tell that girl to stop calling me.
no, not clear. I'm watching the 90. You know,
I think that person wants
Daniel,
to participate, maybe.
No, I don't think so.
no.
Okay.
You know, from the synopsis of the statement read in the speech of the president, this entire speech, the concept of this speech is I grab it from two things: gratitude and to rejuvenate the base. That is it. Because the president is up for the completion of the responsibility given to him by the people of Liberia that he has commenced, that he needs to complete. So who will allow the president to complete the responsibility are the very people that he's talking to, the very people that have assembled, that he's inciting them, he's motivating them, he's rejuvenating them. He said we need to get all out, because these elections are ours to lose. Because we're looking at the projects, we're looking at the investments.
Okay.
You understand? We're looking at the infrastructure. We're looking at things that we have commenced. So we can allow these things to slip away, because we don't know if they will be continued to better the livelihood of the Liberian people. So you got to get up, roll up your sleeves and wear your boots, because the future will not be slipped out of our hands.
Okay, so let's continue. We will continue to grow our economy in order to provide more jobs for Liberians, including creating jobs in the small and medium enterprise sectors and in key sectors like agriculture and manufacturing. We will expand the capacity of the Liberia Electricity Corporation to reach more homes while enhancing industrialization and the creation of jobs. Having reconstituted the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, which now has 7 independent commissioners, we will accelerate efforts to fight corruption and ensure accountability across government. The new LSCC, which has already been given unprecedented powers, will have my full backing and to independently fight waste, fraud, and abuse of public resources. We will similarly continue to empower every integrity institution, including the IAA and the LSCC, while making sure that they work together to move the fight against corruption to a new level. We will also double our efforts to address concerns about livelihood, employment conditions of civil servants, and youth empowerment. As a start, we will re-examine the Beach and Waterways program and bring it back under the supervision of the Liberia Maritime Authority. This is intended to abolish the ad hoc approach that has affected this crucial program, which is a source of income for thousands of young people.
Correct.
I'm going to continue.
Please.
Yes. At the inception of my government 5 years ago, we increased the salary of medical doctors. However, due to budgetary challenges, this did not extend to all of the public sector workers, including clinical health workers, mainly nurses, midwives, physician assistants, lab technicians, the security sector, and teachers, among others. I pledge that we will effect appropriate increments that will be cross-cutting in order to impact every public sector worker performing critical service, including those in the security, education, health, as well as other sectors with a view of ensuring improved working conditions so that salary or wages commensurate with prevailing economic conditions. We also intend to accelerate efforts to ensure traditional leaders are all added to the government payroll. Today, I am also announcing the end of voluntary workers programs both in the health and education sectors. All health workers and teachers currently volunteering will be placed on the payroll beginning January 2024.
And that's a big news.
And if you are a voluntary teacher, you should be celebrating by now.
Yep.
Because if you re-elect President Weah 2024 January, you are placed on the payroll.
And this and the voluntary teachers existed as long as I know.
Let me just end this and we'll talk about this a little because I think it's one of the biggest news we've heard today. Yeah. Today, I am also announcing the end of voluntary workers programs, both in the health and education sectors. All health workers and teachers currently volunteering will be placed on the payroll beginning January 2024. Since 2020, we have placed thousands of voluntary teachers on the payroll. And next year, my government commits to placing the remaining voluntary teachers on the public wage. Beyond 2024, my government further commits to hiring additional teachers to continue to close the teaching gap or the teacher gap. As the government continues its policy of subsidizing public schools, we will also subsidize the payment of registration and graduation fees for all students.
Another good news. So you're adding. So that's another good news. You just finished. That's another.
You want
brilliant
us to finish? Oh, okay. This is about schools also. We shall also ensure that the WAS fees payment is made perpetual by pushing through with new legislation.
Yes.
And explore our tuition-free policy for grades 1 to 6 in all public schools, in addition to the implementation of our campaign promise of establishing a nationwide cadet program for young graduates. This is a cause to which I remain fully dedicated. Some Liberians will be again asking the relevant questions about how the government will pay for these policy changes. The simple answer to my fellow Liberians is that my government over the past 5 years has increased domestic revenue by more than 120 million US dollars.
Yes.
We used some of this increase to finance the 2023 elections, which cost the government 53 million US dollars.
Yep.
Considering that we will not have another election until 6 years from now, we can use some of this increase to enhance the welfare of public sector workers in health, education, as well as the security sector, with the aim of improving living conditions. Liberians deserve better, and this is what I was elected to provide and why I am asking a second mandate to continue to deliver to you, the Liberian people. As president, I have traveled throughout this country and engaged thousands of young people and young leaders. They have dreams of being leaders tomorrow, of leading promising lives. These elections are about these young people. These elections are not about George Manneh Weah. As a government, we have fought to protect the freedoms of Liberians and to put the government at the disposal of all Liberians. My second term will be to deliver for these young people, to work harder so that they can have the Liberia they dream about. I remain confident in our ability to lead Liberia into a brighter future. With your support, we can finish what we started and continue building a stronger, more prosperous nation. I look forward to seeing you again on the campaign trail, where we will join hands and hearts in the spirit of unity and progress. Liberians, we have come a long way, and there is a promising future ahead. I humbly ask for the opportunity to build on our progress, address our challenges, and make Liberia an even greater nation in the coming years. Citizens, independent voters, and all supporters of the mighty Coalition for Democratic Change, I am the president and candidate who has done more for you against the defeated opponent who promised to do for you. In 2017, we were at 14th Street, and during the second round, we moved to Second Street, and we were victorious. During this election, we began our joining on 18th Street, and today we are back at 2nd Street against the same defeated opponent. This alone should tell you that we will be victorious again. May God bless Liberia, and may God bless each and every one of you. I thank you.
Yeah, Daniel, before you come in, let me come in on that one. You see, I listened to that, but what has captured my attention is the aspect of that statement that the president made a promise to the very people that have assembled and those listening, and in connection with his policies that he has implemented over the last 6 years. Now, he talked about education. A lot of people would like to say, these are political times, so political statements are expected. But how do you validate the true nature and the absolute implementation of these political statements? It's from the reality of the implementation of what this person has done that is currently a vivid reality that you can see. Let's look at the issue of the university entry, right? If he's talking about to improve the educational sector. Now, how can a man who wants to improve the educational sector, has no mark on the educational sector, but telling you he can improve it? The only man who can tell you I can do this is a man who has a mark on it, right? And this statement is in line with actually what the president is trying to say. He has got a mark on the educational sector. There is now the free college studies, right? We talk about the payment of wax fees and all of that. So the availability of time, the longevity of time will provide a better opportunity for the very people who are listening to him, who are there. You understand? Education is one of the most important things in our society. If our young people are not educated, there's an easy possibility for them to be swayed away. These messages from the opposition and people who want to take state powers after they have misused and abused the opportunity given to them, some of them still see themselves as property owners of Liberia and they want to come back. So education plays a major role, and he has got a hand mark on education. So if he makes these kind of promises to his people, definitely he's going to live on that.
I don't see where the president has fallen short of his promises. I remember 2017, just after the elections, where he talked about constructing the floating military. We saw the kind of expressions that came from the opposition bloc. Wasn't that done, Titi? Was done. He talked about the road projects in this country, making the National Road Fund a full-fledged agency that's today catering to our road activities in our country. That was done. He talked about, during the campaign 2016, he talked about the free wires. Today is done. What I've listened to in those last lines, both civil servants in the health sector, voluntary teachers, those that are working exceedingly hard in the interest of this country as civil servants, stands to benefit. To protect that, the anti-graft institutions, integrity institutions are also highlighted by the president, which means in as much as these policies will be implemented, but it has to be guided by the framework of transparency. And this is what the president has been doing. So for me, the crux of everything the president said boils down to exciting the people even more to carry on. Imagine making free education from first grade to sixth grade. Do you know how many mothers in the market are single mothers?
Leaving of that.
There are single mothers that can afford to send their children to school. But you just make sure, and to add that up, currently the government is building 45 high schools across the country, 18 ECD schools across the country, upgrading over 25 junior high schools to senior high school. So the availability of schools are there. This government has built the highest number of hospitals the area administration or just almost 6 years, and still expanding. Other counties are now seeing health facility changes. So as he improved the lives of the health workers and the teachers who are now voluntary, that will now become full-fledged civil servants by January next year. This is a good news, not just for the parents, it's a good news also for the faculty and staff of those institutions. So we must look at these messages from the president and base them on the promises he's already fulfilled, and know that this is the person that is geared towards moving the country forward. That's all I can say for now.
I couldn't agree with you more. I know that when CDC had the second to the last rally, I listened to testimonies where people were talking about. There's a guy who said, you know what, if there is only one reason for me to vote for president, where I'm going to do that, because I'm not charging my phone at my friend's house anymore.
Do it at my house.
Yes, I'm doing it at home because I enjoy 24/7 electricity. The president has pledged, that, and for me, I'm a testimony of, this whole LEC thing. Ain't been blinky, I don't know since when.
But I mean, that year to go up in the last, I don't know what, in the last 12 years.
You don't even want to go.
I was right here.
Yes.
ERBC was almost like most of the time.
Yes. So for electricity, it's important, and he has even, pledged to do more. I heard, I heard you talk about these anti-graft institutions, but I believe also this is something the opposition, this most recent past government that has said that corruption was, public enemy number one, is parading with. But this is the government that the president addressing, corruption with these anti-graft institutions, integrity institutions, and I thought it was noteworthy because you're talking about you're coming to fight corruption, though corruption was public enemy number one under your administration, but you telling the people that you're coming to address corruption. But this government is telling you, President Weah is telling you that these are the steps I have taken, my government has taken to address corruption. Coming down to these public sector workers, the nurses, the clinicians, the president has pledged, and this is important. I like the way you guys put it, that the president doesn't say something that he will not do.
No.
When he says something, he wants to make sure that he delivers on his word, because
that's why he's talking too.
Yeah. That's why he's talking to, and people don't like to hear that, but that's what he does. When he says something, he wants to deliver. So if your president tell you that, he's announcing that by January, there will be no voluntary workers program in the health sector and in the education sector. I listened to Professor Ansu Soning today, the education minister. He said when we took over, all the supplementary teachers were making 5,000.
Of course.
When President Weah took over, he carried to 20,000. And the president announced today now that no supplementary teacher anymore as of January. If you're a teacher, why wouldn't you want to give this man, who is going to put you on the payroll? Because if you get on government payroll, that's money to move from there. Your attitude will move from there. That also.
Yep.
People who are on the government civil servants, it's just hard.
And I pray teachers that are listening to us tonight will call and give us
those who are volunteers, supplementary teachers and health workers. The president has said that as of January next year, you will jump on the payroll. That is, for me, the biggest news for those people. He didn't stop there. He talked about making sure that this WAS fees will be made perpetual because it will be legislated.
He added something to it.
Yeah.
Registration and the payments of graduation fees. You know what that means? He added it there. It's there.
he said, it's big that he's exploring this tuition-free policy for
First to sixth grade.
First grade to sixth grade. It's very, very important. Very, very important for our poor parents. And then what I like to really, really stress on, because I, as a citizen, would have asked this question. Some Liberians will begin asking the relevant questions about how the government will pay for these policies. Is very important. Somebody will say, you will just give people free talk. We will do this as of January. We'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. But a responsible leader has to tell you how he's going to make sure that happens. Where is he getting the money from? He didn't fall short of doing that. The president comes back to tell you that the simple answer to my fellow Liberians is that my government over the past 5 years has increased domestic revenue by more than $120 million.
Domestic revenue.
And we pay for our elections, 53,000.
And pay for the CSG, 65,000.
Yes, he's telling you now that we're not going to have elections
65 million,
until another 6 years. So these monies we are getting, we're going to use it now to better the lives of the people. Who is a Liberian citizen who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that? I know we're eating your time.
The taxes are being utilized. The people are benefiting from the taxes.
But here is it. I think it is far much important, and Daniel, it's far much important that the people, even though they will call, but these are messages that they need to hear.
That's what they're hearing. Okay. Okay, let me go ahead.
Yes. A lot of them are listening, and they take interest in the conversation.
We've already started calling.
Yeah, then you've seen it. So they will call.
Number there?
Yeah. Try.
It doesn't even try.
For me, I'm
telling you. So it's important, right?
Let's hear from the leaders.
It's important. So at about this time, we want to get few calls, but not from you, our regular audience.
Let me try to call Professor Tape and
Honorable
Play. If I don't get them, then we open up the lines for you to make your imports tonight.
Yes.
Okay. That raffle draw. So I'm not getting Professor Tape now. So let me try. So
it's important, Daniel. It's important. I think the conversation, like honestly, these are the things the Liberian people have got to hear. Some of the packages, these things that are loaded, and ready to be delivered to the people. This is what.
Okay, Professor Tape is calling back. Let's take him.
Okay.
Prophet, looks like you heard that I was calling using Moonstar to call Selcom, right? So you said, let me just call her back. This is TTG, bro. Okay, thank God you're listening. Welcome.
Thank you, TG.
How are you?
I am fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Okay.
So we just want to get your input. The president made, a firing speech today when he decided to tell his people, thank you, and the Liberian people, thank you for going to a free, fair election. What do you make of some of what the president said today?
I think it was a very brilliant speech. I think it puts Liberia now in a different category by itself in terms of our democratic credentials. I mean, imagine barely 20 years after a brutal conflict that lasted more than a decade, we are able to pursue the path of democratic practice, elections without violence. Imagine we don't have any security forces from outside our here. We did it on our own. And for Liberians to conduct themselves, even though there was some isolated cases that he also made mention of. I think we need to. The president was on spot, and we need to thank all of ourselves as Liberians, regardless of your political affiliation, for the relatively fine conduct with which we handle these elections. And of course, President Weah is someone who has a very grateful heart. So he thanked all of those people who voted for him and those people who did not, in the hope that they will now see the good work that he has done and they will come on board in the second round come November 14 and give him their vote that will give him a second time to complete the good work that has been started.
Okay, my colleagues have agreed that I ask you one more question and then we leave you because we're out of time. But for me, the last part of the speech is everything. The one that talked about, putting voluntary teachers and health workers on payroll as of January. The one that talks about, the schools. For me, it's the best thing I've ever heard today. If you were to put it simply to our people in Liberia, well, how will you, describe that?
It's a revolution. Let me say this to you. The president informed his people today that even though we made adjustments to your salaries, and because it was necessary for the economy to get in an orderly fashion, in spite of the COVID, in spite of the difficulties, it was necessary to take the steps. Today, this president has taken major austerity measures that government before him dreaded and they couldn't touch.
Correct.
But he took the step to put the economy on the sound footing. Now it is on the sound footing. In the next term, we will bring, he said, and as you just said, he will bring the salary of critical staff on par so that they can have a living wage. And this is good. This is what the leader does. This is steady leadership. We will go and bring the salaries of our teachers. These are people who teach our children, with the doctors, the nurses, all of the critical staff. And I know eventually the salary of all other civil servants, the president in his own judgment will make the necessary adjustment. So I agree with you. That was a perfect one. And it was good.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you so much for speaking with us
tonight. You are so welcome.
Thank you, Prof.
Good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I think we should open up the lines now, and we'll try to get Larry,
come on, Brooklyn.
Yeah, Mr. Brooklyn, we'll try to get him, but let's open up the
talk to some
lines
callers
so that you can make your input because we've eaten in your time.
Daniel, you take the calls.
Good evening, callers.
Okay, that person is off. Let's take that.
Hello, caller. Hello.
The line is good tonight.
It's good.
Let's take another one. Hello, caller.
I think that's a problem then.
Yeah, because I don't seem to be hearing anything,
I
and this person is already on, but I don't hear anything coming through.
Call another number that they call that you just used.
Call your number.
All right, so call us on 0772 038240, 0772 038240. This is an alternative number. Okay, so we already. Dana, you take the call, sir.
Good evening, Sir.
Good evening, caller. Your name and where you calling from?
Let me say good evening to my brother Daniel in Washington. This is the voice of Eric Satino, allies behind the Hot City Share, and this evening I'm for implementation number 3 Mosarado County.
Okay, Eric, let's hear you quickly.
Thank you for your brilliant talking points this evening, and I'll be very fast. Washington, you see, you can fight grace, because if you fight grace, you will definitely be disgraced. This runoff is a win-win for President Weah, no matter how people turn it. Sometimes I can sit in my car and wonder, why should people think President Weah should not be re-elected when this president is so dedicated to giving power back to the people? Because Bill 1 of the proposed agenda talked about giving power back to the people.
Correct.
This president will win the second round. Why? Because when he took, before he would take power, he promised that while fees will be paid, and they were paid. Today he's telling you that in 2024, 2024, all volunteer workers will be on payroll. Isn't that sign for you to re-elect him?
It's a good
This
sign.
man is a re-election.
Okay,
so
Till.
that's why we continue to make this appeal.
Okay, Till.
In fact, that conclude.
Yeah, Till, conclude quick now. You got people.
Who's doing it?
We continue to make this appeal that is to give us the space to carry our microphone in the corners so our woman will hear this message. Thank you very much.
Okay, Till. Good evening, caller. Let's hear you. Let's hear you in 1
30
minute.
seconds. 1 minute is just too
Good
much.
evening.
Good evening.
This is Melvin Chichi going a call for one Kibi district, Majibi County district, number 5.
Hey, Mary, how's Margibi today?
Majibi is very cool, and we are raring to go for the second round to give our president an overwhelming visit.
Okay, let's hear a point. Let's hear a point quickly. Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Let's hear a point quickly, Margie.
Yeah, what really lift up my spirit tonight is that calling you volunteer teacher at the Kibi Public School at the General Science and Health Science. And waiting for this moment, the president has done well in enrolling most of our volunteer teachers in the past on the payroll, and we left behind. But we know we believe in the cause of the president. That's why we continue to vote and campaign for him massively. And doing the campaign trail with the president and Dawo Sulu, along with my dear king here at the World Stadium, we knew that the volunteerism will be ended. So I'm very happy, and I hope the president will also open a teacher training center here, because sometimes when we leave for teacher training in Kakata, the school can leave empty.
So Melvin, Melvin, you a volunteer teacher, and this speech speaks specifically to you guys. So I just want on a 5 second, what critical message can you give to some of your friends who had a different decision of not voting the president in the second round?
What I would tell the different volunteers, they themselves, they saw our colleague going through the verification process and were enrolled on the payroll with just few of my new position all right up. So I encourage them to overwhelmingly vote the president.
Okay.
That come after the inauguration, that we all can celebrate on the payroll as well.
Okay, Melvin.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Number 2.
Thank you.
Hello, Carol.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you, my dear?
I'm good, Mama. You got 30 seconds, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you very much for bringing this statement and then explaining it in the common term for us to understand. What I want to suggest to you people is that, can you people bring this statement in the various dialects for our people in the interior to understand? Secondly, these things that President Weah has done, I see it on bulletins here, but it's not on bulletin in Cape Mount. So my people in Cape Mount don't even know what he's doing. They know nothing about this government. Nobody is coming anywhere on radio to tell them that President Weah has done this, has done that, has done that. When we go to talk, they can say we lie because we are seditious. Can you people do that for me?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're making a very good point, Mama. Thank you.
We will take a note of that.
Good evening. Did I cancel the call? Their phone, but I won't like to play with it. Sorry. You can share with me.
Is the call?
Hello?
There?
Hello.
Welcome, sir. 30 seconds, please.
This is Thomas calling from District 4.
Okay.
Thank you so much for what you are saying. But for me, I support Joseph Walker being the president. Those will be done more than one president way is doing what Joseph Walker did is the power.
Okay. Thank you for your input.
Okay, Carla, thank you.
That's a view. Respected. We have someday.
I think I gave me half an answer. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Auntie, how you doing?
We're good.
Good.
Okay, I want to say thank you for the show tonight. And I want to add my voice, you guys' voices, by telling all citizens those things that people have been saying during the campaign time, oh, Georgia want to do this, want to do that, and that Georgia want to do those things. I want us to know that these things should have been done long since. But then they were not able to do these
Now today we got somebody who can help us to do this thing, but then they don't want to give him his flower, but to God be the glory. And I want to ask you guys one question, please. I want you to please help me when it comes to those who went to Olong County. I don't know why you are getting information on that. How will it be like? Because we got 2 persons now in the race.
In terms of going back?
To go back
Okay. We'll find out and let you know.
to vote our candidate.
We'll find out and let you know, yeah?
Thank you.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah, hello?
Good evening. Welcome. 30 seconds, please.
Yeah, I don't know something on this. I'm calling from 15 days.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You there? You have something to say?
Whatever the partner said, I love the idea. But then with the youth now, with the youth, because we need jobs. We need jobs to for the youth, because when we continue, we're about to start for that easy.
But you're also captured in what the president said.
National
He
Cadet
said,
Program.
yeah, he says that, you know, his second term is for the young people.
National Cadet Program and Peace and Waterway.
He is dedicated to making the lives of the young people better. So you're also captured in that. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Hello?
Walk away from
Feedback.
Hello.
Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. You have to move away from your radio when you call us because the feedback is terrible. Please, it's really, really terrible. And I'd like to apologize to our people who use the regular number.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with our lines tonight.
Hello?
Good evening.
I need my people.
I'm good. Oh, how are you?
I'm fine. This is Mr. Freeman from District 6.
Let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, I brought the president for a good message today, but I want to find out something from the president. The whole world is getting hard, and he has a lot to do. So at least thank God, you know that all Nigerian life to need to be better. At least thank God, you recognize that today. I
Okay.
appreciate it for your message.
That's
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello. Good evening. Let's hear you.
Thank you for the conversation. We were talking about putting teachers on payroll. There was a train people that were on payroll. And the government of our they are working for the college. So far, can the government?
Did you tell your name when you were what?
You said we were on payroll. We were in school college. And they are working.
So you are a teacher?
I'm on tuition, going from Riverside. I'm teacher. I was in college and I was need for on the table because I was, the county leadership still were now being extension to the class why we can't improve ourselves for
So how will you be a teacher and you're not paying attention to your class? You have not improved yourself, but you are teaching other people. You think it was fair to the people who you're
I remember
teaching?
that
But you
situation.
said something just now. There's a behavior that keep you in the job.
Yeah?
for television to our CEO to go to school. But when the county leadership say we're not serving the county and they never inform take our on payroll.
Let's be fair now. You're teaching somebody. You're not prepared to teach the person. Do you think you're fair to the person who you're teaching?
And you
And
leave
if
them.
you leave the person and go to study, you expect that the person should be waiting for
And
you.
there's
The person
there's
who's
a
going to
vacancy.
teach them, who's going to pay them.
But we have some excuse.
How do you ask
What
for
becomes
excuse
of
when you're
students?
teaching somebody? How do you ask for excuse when you're teaching me? You're teaching my child, and you say I ask for excuse. The person who will teach my child when you go to learn, who pays that person?
But teacher was in the class and they never came and they also come out of class. They know the and now we are all
Take it. You can take it with the teacher education officer
Ask Professor Finney about that. But me, who you said, I think you explained
or the CEO, the county education officer can help you with that.
Just do the right thing.
It's a hard thing.
Just do
Hello.
the right thing.
The good old sir.
Yeah.
That could be the
I
last one.
want to thank you
voting for the president. Yeah, you know. Yes, we went over again. Every people are saying we're not going to go for 7 rounds. But I pray that by the grace of the Almighty God, one day they're not successful.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You for being
I'm a first-time voter.
Yeah?
I say I'm a first-time voter.
Oh, that's very good.
I know you were excited to go vote, eh? Yeah?
I say my first-time voter and according for being so.
Oh, okay.
Tell me how it feels to be a first time, voter. The first time you went to vote. How did you feel?
I feel very excited, you know, because of the community I was living, like Kimiko Road, I saw a lot of good weather and special things for the people that there. Yeah. So that's why I want to carry in because I'm
You mark the paper, good?
leadership, you'll be able to build this country correctly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, yeah?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. We're going to leave it at that now because we don't have much time. But, I just like to stress a point before you guys come in. To that guy who says, in River says, who called from River says, the thing about education is no play because the foundation of a child, for me, is their life. If you don't have a better foundation in school, it's a problem for you. Growing up, you just leave a lot of things behind. And after you have, become an adult, you can go back to studying ABC or K2 or first grade,
life is
second
wasted.
grade. Yeah.
Educational.
So if you didn't learn properly, it becomes a problem for you. That is why people who are teaching our children must be, people who have learned properly. If you're in the school teaching people, and you can't even, you yourself need to go to school and then you're teaching other people.
need to be in the
It's
classroom.
a disservice to the students, to the children. And if you're told to go back to school to learn how to come and teach our children, you expect that you will remain on the payroll. It's unfair. And if they took you off the payroll, because they will have to take you out so that another person who is prepared can do your job.
In fact, Titi, I was involved. I remember this story he's talking about.
Okay.
Right? In fact, he's among those teachers who left the classroom, came to Monrovia to go to school, left the children without instructions, nobody to teach
On
them.
their own.
And then when the county education officer complained to the Ministry of Education, and the ministry decided to take a decision after investigation were conducted, some of them started to politicize this whole issue. But in the end, it was all on them. So,
It's unfair to our
exactly,
children. It's totally unfair. And even Rivers says, I like the
already there's a
now-
challenge
yeah,
with teachers.
It's a challenging, county, Rivers says, because I, as a journalist, went to Rivers says for a week and we were looking at the school system there. And we enter the classroom just to observe. And the person who is teaching the students doesn't even know how to speak English.
That's the challenge.
Yeah.
But that's the reason why the president has prioritized the
then that was,
ECD.
I was working for New Narratives, not now, during the Ellen Johnson's early time. So we used to do programs we used to go from county to county to look at the school system. And somebody is in a classroom. One thing I don't like, I know all of us can speak colloquial, right?
But don't take it to the classroom.
But don't take it to the classroom. Don't take it to the classroom. For me, it gets in my skin because whatever you tell my child in the classroom is
He or
what
she brings it home.
he or she brings it home. I will try my best to speak standard English to my sons because I want them to speak properly, but I expect that you who are the teacher do it even better. Then the teacher says, y'all get out, you can see the people that can't, you can't speak to them.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what?
Oh my God.
What is he really teaching them? But again, it's sad. So it has to get better. If you are a teacher, you must teach our children properly.
But that's why he
the
was
only way
replaced.
you can do that is by learning yourself.
And you see the politics he's trying to put in this edition. If it comes to education, the president doesn't look at from that perspective, because part of the reasons why President Weah is focused on this early child development, this new concept on an education platform and quality, So the quality aspect speaks to teachers that are trained and qualified to be in the classroom. So even the voluntary teachers that have been upgraded to the payroll, the ones that the president is talking about also in January, these teachers on Ministry of Education, there is a plan. There's a credential roadmap that you must follow.
Yeah, be up to the task to teach our children.
So the teachers today in the public schools, you see, there's a difference. They have the requisite credentials to be in the classroom.
When I listened to that brother's statement and was very deceptive is that he was trying to tie CDC to
Which
education.
is wrong.
Politics.
You were trying to tie CDC to education. That is wrong. You're not being employed as an educator based on a CDC, partisanship. No, you don't do that.
No.
The Terrain speaking CDC in the classroom.
Not at all.
Don't do that. It's an error. Don't do it. You understand? Education is about what you get from the classroom and how effective you're going to use it.
You must win anybody's sympathy because if that person is even from another party, they can be from the Unity Party, the CPP. No parent wants somebody who's not prepared to teach their child.
And education should not be tied with politics.
Yeah, you can't make it.
That's what he tried to do here, to buy sympathy. To say, oh, I see this and the come on, don't do that.
But it's getting better because if you look at the number of schools that's been constructed, the number of quality teachers that have been brought forth, even the president implemented his promise by bringing those Nigerians, the structures he talked about to try to beef up our teaching.
Our strength,
exactly. So, and one of the call-outs stressed on they being left out in terms of the young people. The president emphasized that. The National Cadet Program, which of course speaks to people coming out of high school, and also the beach and waterway that would now go under the maritime or under the Ministry of Youth and Sports, that starting from the second administration. These different programs are intended to support a pre-career financing for young people. The president, I remember when he went to District 4, he made a revelation. He said, when I got if I was in high school, I was a beneficiary of the National Cadet Program. That's how I went to the telecom. Okay, so he said, you see, the president usually keeps his promise. He said that, just imagine doing the first round of campaigning.
And he also said that, during the campaign, and he says today that he's committed to making sure that happens.
So just imagine, so it means that he's genuine. He's genuine. So Liberians, so at the end of the day, what President we has re-elected, in my closing, my parting comments,
thank you.
He's definitely going to identify all of these things he talked about, and the monies for these things. When President we has said something, it's just say when the minister will throw you the right here. He's already planned for these things. You can see for yourself the kind of development he's done. And to say to you that he's going to do these things, let us give him the opportunity to implement these things, because it is for all Liberians for a tribal line.
Okay, Daniel, thank you very much. And it was a beautiful and wonderful conversation here tonight. I think, like I said, I think it was last night or the night before, Daniel has really spiced up this conversation. Since he was incorporated, it has been a very remarkable moment with him, and I am grateful. We look forward to having a spirited and well-loaded conversation on tomorrow, and this is our responsibility. Thank you very much. My name is Washington, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much to all of you who have made it your duty to join us this evening on the program. Make it a date with us again tomorrow, when we will be here, God willing, with a fresh edition of
From the east to the west, north to the south, let's come together as one. They say you're not there, we stand, if I there, we fight. If we not celebrate, we do it for you. While you forget that, you from Lower Country, you from Maryland, while you from Rewa Cess. I'm a bastard, we own your people, I have a funny fine way. Tabila, I love Liberia, oh yeah. Free land on liberty, Liberia, oh yeah. I love Liberia, oh yeah. Play for me and you, Liberia, oh yeah.
I was raised in the swamp, but I chilled with my guns. Kept it on the low, but we fought for the bones. True son of the soil, I'm a prince in my own. Never gonna lie, me, I love the